investments webinar. Thanks for taking the time to join us in today's webinar, and hopefully you enjoy it. Just wanted to cover a few topics that we're going to go through today. Literally, I'm going to give a little bit of a rundown on what's happening in the property industry, the property market in Cape Town. Questions that get asked all the time is, property still a good investment? Should I rent or buy property? And you know what's happening in the industry with COVID and reflection on that. So I'm going to cover a few topics, and then I'm going to unpack the Ihlathi Parklands investment opportunity. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm going to try and keep it short, sweet, and simple, but try and give you as much information at the same time. A little bit of background on Realty of Excellence. Realty of Excellence, one of the first real estate companies that started in Joburg 42 years ago, and we've got a team of 80 agents in Cape Town. We basically specialize in new developments where we help developers strategize on what pricing, layouts, design, and really give a full package. So 42 years of experience in the area, and we're really excited to partner and help International Housing, who is the developer. But before I get into that, really just give a little bit of a breakdown on what's happening in the property market. And basically, over the last 22 years that I've been doing this, properties always go in 5-year cycles. I've gone through 5 cycles within the last 20 years, and property is always a long-term investment. So one of the first fundamentals is people always look at the short term, 2 years, 3 years. You can't. You have to look at property at the long term. And what really drives property markets is people and population growth. So the first thing, Cape Town population growth, 30% increase in the last 15 years. Cape Town is always going to be the best place to invest because it has so many different lifestyles. So not only internationally, but nationally, from Johannesburg, from East London, from Durban, we have many people buying in our suburbs because it's the place that they're going to retire, and it boils down to lifestyle. You know, if you look at the Joburg side, kite surfing, beaches, West Coast, Longabon, to the vineyards, to the East Coast, to nature, mountains, we've got everything. So not only do we have population growth, but we have immigration of people wanting to live in Cape Town, and then they look at what is the best value for money that you're going to get, and that's what drives the property market. So number 2 on that is where we are in the cycle right now. As you see in the last couple of months, we had the lowest interest rate in the last 47 years. So it is the best time, and we're not just saying that because we want you to buy something. It is literally the best time to buy. We haven't seen interest rates like this in the last 47 years. And what does that mean? That just means as a buyer, right now, you can get a bigger bond on what your income and affordability is. So right now, if you're buying in property, your yields are stronger, you have to pay the banks less, and the banks are giving 100% bonds, and we are getting approval ratios at around 86%. So 86% of all bonds that go to the banks at the moment get approved, and 100% bonds. So the banks are very aggressive, and it's one of those things, use the bank's money to make money. So that's from the interest rate. Just to give you indication of what that means. So if you bought a property at R1 million at the beginning of this year, your repayment would have been 9,485. Right now, the interest rates have come down to 7.75%, which gives you your bond repayment at 8,200, which means it's 1,200 of savings, 1,276 Rand to be exact, and that will save you 306,000 Rand of interest over a 20-year bond. Not only that, but right now an interest rate, if you at the beginning of the year could have only qualified for 800,000 Rand, you could now apply for a higher bond. So that is why it's a really great time to buy in the property market. Then what is happening in sales wise, and this is where media and people get it completely wrong. Yes, property market in the luxury market is under pressure. It's really as simple as there's not as many people in the market in the high-end 5, 10, 15 million Rand. People are earning less, people are under pressure with COVID, job security and everything else. So if you look at this graph, which shows you sales, and this is basically every sale that's happened in South Africa in the deeds office, less than 5% was properties over 3 million. So 5% of the whole market of properties that sold over 3 million, 16%, 1.5 to 3 million, 25% of the market, 800 to 1.5. So this graph just illustrates the market under 1.5 is busy. In lockdown, we've had close to 60 sales, all under million rand. Yes, we've done 60 sales within Ihlathi development within lockdown. So, you know, a lot of clients said to me yesterday when we explained it with our team is that, how's that possible? The bottom line is there is a huge demand for people wanting to own their own property, and everyone has a right to own their property, and that's going to be the market for the next 12 months. So very exciting. There is growth happening. Capital growth in the Western Cape sitting at around 3.6%. The national average is sitting at 2.5%. So Western Cape is always going to do better than the national average because, again, it is a nice place to live. I'm not saying if you live in Joburg or Durban, it's not a place. All I'm saying is that Western Cape is a very attractive. If you look at property inflation in the upper end price brackets, and this is where media and people get it wrong in the industry, is that luxury is, yes, feeling under pressure. People can get bigger bargains at 10 to 15 million rand. So there is negative growth in those price brackets. But if you look at properties between 400 and 1.5 million, you're getting 5 to 7% capital growth. So it's still a very strong segment to the market to be in at. Now, the other question is, Tony, should I buy property, you know, with what's happening? Absolutely. If you look at other investment classes, so if you look at the share price in COVID, some prices dropped 50, 60%. Property, even in a bad market, has never dropped that much. So if you look at, yes, you might not get capital growth in the luxury price bracket, but it didn't have any serious knocks like so if you look at property in the long term, it's still the best investment to look at as long as you're in the 500 to 1.5 million price bracket. Then if you look at Cape Town, don't have to sell Cape Town any more than I have. But if you look at Ihlathi, which is our latest development with international housing, it is in the Parklands area, and the opportunity on the Parklands area is always done extremely well. Now, a lot of people have got different things to talk about in Parklands. To give you my point of view, is Parklands is one of the most exciting areas to invest in. It's one of the fastest growing communities in the whole of South Africa. If you look at what the infrastructure, it's the only area in the whole of Cape Town that's got the My City bus with a feeder system. What I mean by that is that literally door to door, 500 meters from any household in Parklands, you are close to an internal system, feeder system to the My City bus. So now, instead of having 2 cars, you've got a family that just needs 1 car. Plus, you've got 5 different private schools. Generations, one of the most exciting entrepreneur schools in the area. You've got Parklands College, you've got Alcana, you've got CBC, you've got Cura, and then you've got all the retail centers. You've got the beautiful Bloberg Beachfront, which is voted one of the best kiteboarding towns in the world. And you have an amazing lifestyle, schools, retail, facilities, plus you got the best value for money. So when people have R1 million or 700,000 rand, where can you buy in Cape Town? So from an investment point of view, it is the best investment versus lifestyle opportunity in the whole of Cape Town. Other areas that offer the same would be maybe Brackenfell or Muizenberg, and then you still would be paying 100,000 rand more. So and then the other element of it is, it's a starting point. Someone will move into a property at 700,000 rand. 2 years later, they can go buy a duplex, then they can buy a house, and everyone's goal is to get obviously close to the beach. So really, really exciting area to invest in. The Ihlathi is 384 units, which consists of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom options. It has been, we've done a lot of projects with international housing, really good track record. They are mandated to create opportunities for people to get into the market, and that for our team is the most exciting part. You know, someone who's been renting at 7,500 or 8,000 rand a month now can own their own property and pay less in repayments towards a bond. So these units, it's fiber ready, solar geysers, 24-hour security, enclosed gardens, 20% water savings and energy savings. And this really becomes the sustainability of first-time home buyers to not only buy, but how is it sustainable for the future. Ihlathi is located on the corner of Parklands Main Road and Sandown Road, right next to a nature reserve which can never ever be developed. And it is really easy to get in to Sandown Road. It's close to the schools, and it's also a great way to get out. So from a traffic, it's really easy entry and exit. That gives you a little position of Ihlathi. The Damar construction team is in control of the construction and the development of the site. They have already moved onto site to start doing the services. This view, you can see how close it is to all the surroundings. We're looking at completion October, November 2021. And that's what is so nice. You buy now, you sign your documents now, you get 100% bond, let the bank fund your investment. You put 15,000 Rand down, and next year, once the unit's finished, you come in, do inspection. By that time, you've already got capital growth without spending any money. And that's what the beauty about buying off plan is, that you're buying now, you're getting capital growth for free, and it really gives you a good foot in the door. Then if you look at the layouts, you've got your security entrance, 24/7 security, gated, huge park area for kids to play. You've got all your ground floor units have got enclosed gardens, and this is differential compared to other blocks like this. A lot of the other blocks have got communal gardens. The team has insisted in enclosed gardens, so it's a safe, secure, and nice environment to live. As I said, construction dates, the guys are already on site. Financials, if you wanted to buy a unit, the units have been pre-approved by all the banks already. Better Bond is waiting to assist you. If you not sure that you get pre-qualified, we can do a pre-qualification with our team to make sure that you can qualify for a bond. Once you feel that you can, basically you would need to sign an agreement subject to your bond being approved with a 15,000 Rand deposit. If your finance is not approved, you do get your 15,000 Rand deposit paid back. It includes all your transfer costs. The only thing that you would have to pay for is your bond registration fees. Then if you look at the finishes, really high quality finishes throughout the unit. And this is what it looks like from an investment point of view. If you were looking at a one-bedroom investment, you're looking at 699, a deposit of 15,000 Rand. So your bond repayment would be 5,623. And this is where we find it so exciting. We have many of our clients that are renting a one-bedroom at the moment at 6,500. So to get 100% bond and to pay for your own bond would be less than what you would rent the property for. So your rental yield is around 10%. Your capital growth is 4%. And what do we mean by that? So if you put down 15,000 Rand, the transfer goes through next year. You haven't paid anything. You're basically getting that full return and 100% of that finance back. A two-bedroom unit would cost anything between 749 and 899. Deposit of 15,000 Rand, your repayment is going to be 6,000 Rand, your rental income 7,500, which means if you're buying for investment, your investment with 100% bond is getting 100% covered by the rental. So you're using the bank's money, you're not putting any of your own money down. It doesn't cost you any money. In year one, you are breaking even. Now, question, is property a good investment? Absolutely. Buying off plan is still the best investment to get into the market. A three-bedroom unit, which costs 1,249, will cost your repayment at 10,139, your rental income 10,500. These rental incomes we have not increased to next year. We've been very realistic on what your returns would be. Your levies range anything from 800 Rand to 1,400 Rand, depending on what your unit and your size is. So again, back to the question, should I rent or versus I buy? If you are renting right now and you're paying 7,500 Rand a month, in year one, you're going to lose 90,000 Rand. But you're not only losing the rental, you're losing the capital growth of that unit that if you had to buy it. So let's say you had a rent for 5 years. If you had a rent for 5 years, you're going to lose 450,000 Rand. plus the capital growth, because you're not in the market, that money just disappears. You're losing another 205,000, which means 655,000 Rand is the money that you've lost in 5 years. Now, a lot of clients we see that are doing well, they get a good job. What do they go do? They go buy a fancy car first. Now, not being against buying a nice car, a car that's going to cost you 400 or 500,000 Rand is going to cost you 10,000 Rand a month. After 5 years, what are you going to sell that car for? You're going to sell that car for half of that money. So renting versus buying, absolutely. Getting into the market, and this is the other thing, is a lot of people try and get their castle the first time. Just get into the property market, get your foot into the property ladder. In 3 years or 4 years, you can sell this property and make a profit, and that can go into a bigger property. That's option one. Option two, rather keep the property, buy another one of these, and over a 10 or 15-year cycle, try and buy 3 or 4 of these properties that this will be your retirement fund. We all know retirement funds, by the time that you retire, the money is worth less than what you thought, and a lot of people can't retire. So property, from a first-time home buyer to an investor, looking at the long term is always going to be the best way. If you are interested in reserving a unit, you will be getting an email from our team, Samantha and Jason, today with the availability. We've only got 17 units left, and that's in lockdown. Because of the interest rates, a lot of people are going, why should I pay rent? They want to get into the property market, and that's why we've been extremely busy, and that's why this is a really good opportunity for you. So you'll get an email from our team today with a recording of this webinar, the latest availability list. If you want to get pre-qualified with our team, Marlene is on hand to cross-check it if you want to first check if you qualify. If you have any other questions, Samantha's number below, 064 684 5507, or Jason, 079 625 5057. They're on call. If you have any questions, please give them a shot. And on that view, you'll be getting an email from us today. So I hope you enjoyed today's investment webinar. I hope you found the information to your benefit. And thanks for taking the time for today's investment webinar. Wishing you a great day, and look forward to working with you on your investment.